For the record, this is Exhibit 1.
I know, but just wait, we want to cue up the TV. Or monitor.
Shine that shit in my eye. Uh-oh.
Are the lights at the front of the switch box?
The bar? No, it looks like it's on.
All right, here, let's start. Can you see that witness?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
pretty well. Yes.
Okay.
The monitor's not on.
It takes a second.
All right, fine. Go ahead. Counselor Law, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Witness, I have to tell you, you're looking at a video that is on a screen that is somewhat hazy. Can you stop, please?
Yes.
This one, if you need to look closer, is going to be better on the TV screen. If you need to, let me know, and I'll ask the court for permission for you to move around.
I have no objection. The court is going to indicate for the record for the remainder of the hearing. I have no objection to any of the lawyers approaching witnesses and/or witnesses getting off the scene. So
All right.
It might be better.
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
Well, if you can do it from where you're at, please.
I'm looking.
Now you got a problem. All right. If you'll sit in your seat until you need to look, and then tell us that you're gonna move, that would be better. All right.
Please.
All right. Now, what time frame are we at, counsel?
We're going to be starting at 21:48:14.
This is exhibit number 1 on September 28th at approximately 9:48.
September 28th.
Hmm.
You said September 28th?
January 28th.
Okay, because I want to know if this, okay, go
So
ahead.
this is exhibit 1, the people's exhibit.
Okay, here it is. Go ahead.
Okay. From your view of this, do you know what you're looking at?
Very well. I know what I'm looking at based on. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Does this appear to you to be consistent with the video that you had viewed in preparation for coming in here today?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to tell you, because it's in the record, that that's Officer Melendez's vehicle and that that is the video from his vehicle. But do you see cars passing?
I see the car passing from left to right.
All right, I'm gonna move this video, and then I'm gonna start to slow it down at a certain point.
Okay.
And I want you to call it out when it is slowed down. Could you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm starting at 21:48:14.
And I want to just, for the record, because the jury's going to be able to get this. This is the reduced version, which we're using for the toggling and controlling. Is that correct, Ms. Brennan?
Yes, it is.
All right. And the button that you're going to be pushing is which button?
This is the play button.
Did you push the stop button to stop it?
You should push the pause button once the video is rolling.
Okay, you should not push the stop button. You should push the pause button. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so then, in order to go forward now, and go forward at real time, which button do you push?
This button.
And that would be the indicator, the right indicator to the right. Okay. And I am reminded by the prosecutor that the bottom right corner says L3 Communications, and that has not been placed in the record yet.
That's just the player, Judge. I think the record should reflect the player we're looking at. in case
Okay,
that's
very good,
necessary.
go ahead. That's
Okay.
just a player.
All right. Now, are we going to go forward real time, or are we going to go forward frame by frame?
I will be going forward real time and then stopping frame by frame.
All right. When you go real time, please. Let's see what's going on. Doctor, do you see traffic?
I see traffic going left to right.
Okay.
I paused at 21:48:25.
Okay. What do you see?
I see a vehicle going left to right.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to step down to the video monitor and not look at it on the screen if you could. And then we're going to go forward step by step, and I'm going to ask you if you see any vehicle going from right to left that is consistent with a white Cadillac.
To go frame by frame, I'll be using this button here.
Call it out if you see it.
Yes.
Stop. What do you see?
White vehicle.
What frame are we?
We're at 21:48:27.
And what direction is that white vehicle passing?
It's going right to left.
So that would be westbound on Michigan Avenue, if you know?
Yes, I believe.
Okay. If you don't,
Yes,
say
I believe
so.
Yes.
All right. Continue, please.
Would you like slow or real time?
Please, I'd like it step by step until you can't see it any longer, please. What happened?
If you go too fast, it resets.
Okay. So apparently it is reset. We're going to try and go back to where we were at 21, 27. Where are you?
I'll get there. Just a second.
21, 48, 27.
Okay, for the record, when you are using this button frame by frame, you have to press the button for each frame to move.
And that would be,
Just
okay, tell me when you see it.
See it?
we're back at 21:48:27.
And when do you lose it?
Oh, it's left to.
You have to stop talking.
I really,
When do you see it?
I see it now. Right, it's gone.
Okay, what is the time frame?
214829.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to resume your seat, please. And we're going to go real time. And I want to see whether or not you notice if the vehicle or the camera in the vehicle changes its position. Did you happen to see anything at that point?
Yeah, I saw movement, but I might be better up on the other monitor.
Well,
Well, why don't you sit down, just move, do what you feel is best, okay? Don't trip and fall and
Don't-
get in
don't
this
get
circle.
Doctor, you recognize that every time you speak, it's going to be on the record, right?
Yes.
I'd like you to speak and answer questions. Did you see the vehicle move?
Look, appeared to move, yes,
All right.
forward.
To move forward? Okay. Now, let's,
Use that pointer too, you know, so the jury, okay?
all right, can we go back?
Yeah, I'll blow it up. Okay, I'll be starting at 214826.
Call out when you hear it move, or see it move, I'm sorry.
Moves forward right there.
All right, stop. What is the time?
214840.
All right, if you are driving in a vehicle, and you move the vehicle, can you see any legitimate police purpose for doing that at that time?
Doing the surveillance, he's pulling, officer will be pulling forward to get a better look. See-
That is a legitimate purpose, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there could be many reasons, but is it consistent with an officer changing his position to continue better surveillance?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Now, I'm going to play this video real time, and then we're going to stop it. Well, I want to advance to the Inkster street sign. Call out the time that we're at now.
We're now at 214840.
Okay, and then let's go to the street sign, and then you can tell me what the time is for that.
Okay, I'm now at 215515.
So approximately 7 minutes later, for the record.
Yes.
And where are we now, Doctor, if you can tell?
Going to right in front of the Inkster city limit sign, going towards the other direction.
At this point, is there a view of traffic going in the camera going down the street?
Okay, wait a minute. Doctor, you have to keep your voice up.
Oh,
Mr. Thomas, there's lots of noise here, and that's going on. And when his back is to me and you're whispering in the conversation, I really can't hear it.
okay.
I'm straining.
You want me to go over this way?
I think so, then he'll be talking.
I'll do that. All right.
You may proceed.
Is this better?
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. Camera view going westbound on Michigan?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Are you? I'd like you to tell me whether or not the camera view is the same view that a person would have if he were sitting in the driver's seat.
Basically, yes.
Well, do you recognize that the camera view doesn't look left to right?
Right. It does not.
All right. What, if any, difference is there between a camera view and the human eye?
The camera is stationary in the vehicle, but it is viewing forward.
Would you expect a human being to see more than what the camera has?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the camera also gives a picture, if you will, of being further away.
All right. So now, as far as the human eye unaided, what if there were binoculars? Would you agree that you'd be able to see further than just that?
Yes.
All right. Now, can we then move forward? Okay. Do you see traffic now?
Yes,
Which way is it passing?
we're going westbound.
Now we're in a larger picture, which is going to show the view. What do you see?
See down the road, what appears to be a right-hand turn signal.
Stop it, please, I'd like that time.
Excuse me? What was the time
For the
on
record,
that?
we're at 21:56:06.
Just a bit before that. All right, so then go ahead, please.
Right-hand turn signal.
Again, call out the time.
21:56:14.
Okay, continue. What did you see? If any.
Turn signal, still see a sign.
All right. Stop. Okay, what is the time? Call that out.
21:56:34.
Okay. All right, I'd like you to take a look at the camera, at the, at the video, on the video screen where you're at. And where I stopped it is a position that I want you to take a look at closely, and if you can, highlight anything there of any significance.
Step to your reflection.
Doesn't work
It may
on the
not.
TV.
Does it- does it?
So
Okay.
you see it on the TV?
Yeah.
Show it to the jury there, if you will, on the screen, if you can.
See reflection here.
All right. Now,
Oh,
you just saw the video.
yes,
Did you see the car, any car, turn onto Fairbairn from Michigan Avenue from the video?
I saw a right-hand turn signal.
But do you know if that right-hand turn signal was the right-hand turn signal of any car, of any particular car?
I couldn't tell which car.
Okay. Is it, okay. Now you have a view on Fairbairn looking towards Oakland Avenue. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, what is it that you see in that video?
What I see is a reflection, perhaps a tail light as you go forward.
Well, no, I don't want to go forward. I want to see this. What is it that you see here?
Perhaps tail light, reflection of tail light.
Okay. Now, where is that taillight in relationship to Fairbairn and Oakland?
It's going on Oakland to be westbound.
Would you agree it is at the corner or shortly after?
It is certainly, yes, it's.
Can you
reflection.
answer yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can we go forward? Was that lost now? At that point, stop? Did the camera lose the view of that taillight?
Yes.
Okay, is the car still on Fairbairn?
Yes.
Let's talk about what the car does. Can we go forward, please? Tell me now when it's turning.
It's turning.
Stop. At what point is that?
21:56:49.
Okay, can we blow it up? Sir, what do you see there in the view on Oakland Avenue?
Tail lights.
Okay. Do you see any other cars that are operating, that have their lights operating at any place on Oakland at this particular point?
No.
Before turning onto Oakland, did you see any traffic whatsoever other than what you've identified as taillights at the corner?
No. This,
Do you see a vehicle straight ahead of you?
yes.
And Are those lights clearly visible?
Yes.
All right, continue. Call out the time.
21:56:49.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to take a look at this as it goes, and I want you to observe how the vehicle is traveling. Stop. What did you see?
The brake lights came on and the vehicle's traveling on the other side of the road.
All right, when you say other side of the road, what do you
Wrong
mean?
side against traffic.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Wrong side against, I would be against traffic.
Okay. At that point, can you see an intersection?
Yes.
All right, let's continue. Make it larger.
I stopped at 21:57:01.
What do you see? Stop.
Vehicle.
What did you see just there?
The vehicle coming up to an intersection and almost running the stop sign, almost hitting them.
When you say almost running, I can almost run a stop sign and stop completely. Did you see a complete stop there?
I don't believe there was a complete stop there, and the vehicle appears to caution the vehicle coming across, so out in the intersection, perhaps.
When you drop your voice, I can't hear
Out in the
you.
intersection, it appears.
I want you to wait until I finish talking before you talk. You know why?
It doesn't matter, just
Because
tell
a
them to do it.
court reporter only has the ability to take down one voice at a time. All right.
Go ahead.
Continue, please.
Stopped at 21:57:10.
You see traffic there?
Yes.
What do you see? Stop.
At that angle, the vehicle coming from left to right, and it appears that the vehicle in front here, the tail lights did not come to complete stop.
Would a reasonable police officer at that point have probable cause to stop the vehicle?
Reasonable, yes, sir.
Continue.
It was 21:57:16.
Coming up to another intersection, I want you to tell me what you observe.
Again, towards the middle or the other side of the road, as indicated before.
See the brake lights?
See the brake lights come on? And goes through the
Stop.
stop sign.
What did you just see?
Vehicle goes through the stop sign, does not stop.
At that point, what would a reasonable officer have the ability to do?
To stop the vehicle for violating traffic law.
How many traffic laws did you see violated at this point?
3.
Okay. And what were they?
The first rolling stop sign, and then the vehicle on the wrong side of the road, in the middle of the road, and then running the stop sign.
What, if anything, would be a violation in relationship to the traffic at the first intersection if there was almost a collision?
I don't believe the vehicle came to a complete stop, and it would almost like a failed yield that came out too far.
All right. Can we continue now?
Stopped at 21:57:47.
See the light there?
Yes, blue lights.
All right, stop. You said something. I asked you if you saw a light. You said something.
Yes, blue lights.
Really, I don't see a color on that screen. Do you see a color on that screen?
Not right now. No, sir.
All right. What I'd like you to tell me is, did you see street lights prior to the flashing of the light by the police officer?
Did I see street lights? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see street lights ahead?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you see coming from the police car?
I have to go back and take a look at it, sir.
Did you see a flashing light on the left that
Yes.
was maybe a spotlight?
That's what I believe.
Okay. You have to go back to see that, or do you remember that?
I remember that, yes.
All right. Let's go forward.
21:58:01.
What do you see?
Brake lights, spotlights, blue lights.
What do you see?
Vehicle coming to, vehicle swerving, starting to come to a prolonged stop. Stop, it goes out to the left, comes to a stop there.
Did you see it move to the right when
Right.
it came to the stop?
Yes, it went to the left and then to
All
the
right,
right.
stop. Did you see what happened, if anything, to the back end of that vehicle?
Yes, it went up.
Why? If you know.
It appeared to have suddenly braked once it came to the prolonged stop.
All right, now, at this point, what would a reasonable officer do?
A reasonable officer would be very, very suspicious, be on guard.
Okay. Would they have a right to come out of their vehicle?
Yes, they would.
Would they have a right to have a weapon at their side?
Absolutely, yes.
And please roll it until you see the door open.
This is 215838.
Stop. At that point, do you see someone there with a weapon in his hand?
Yes, I do.
Is it pointed at the car yet?
It is not.
Is it drawn and it is at his side?
Yes.
What do they call that?
It's a ready position. He's
Okay. At this point, would it be reasonable for an officer, under the circumstances that you've seen in the video, to then at that point, at almost 10 o'clock at night, to have his weapon drawn?
yes, sir.
And tell me about the door opening. What is that? In a traffic stop, if you were a reasonable officer and you were observing that, what would a reasonable officer be heightened to prepare for?
Risk of attack, that the subject could possibly brandish a weapon, firearm, and getting out quickly like that is a danger sign.
All right. Now, do you see a license plate on that car?
Not very well.
Okay. Well, do you see now what happens subsequently? Can you tell us the time and then roll it?
Do you want real time?
Real time, please.
215846.
And then what I want to do is I want to do a step-by-step. Okay. All right, what do you see?
As the door swings open quickly, the officer begins to level his weapon.
All right, stop. All right, at this point, how many hands are outside the door?
One,
Okay, and now at this point, call out the time.
215847.
All right, and do you see an officer in the right-hand corner?
yes,
Do you see him doing anything at this point?
he's coming over towards the left part of the car.
Apparently, he's coming towards the door where the door was open?
Yes,
Okay, now, at this point, what would a reasonable officer be thinking about with the one hand out the door?
reasonable officer be on, again, he would be alarmed, he or she would be alarmed, and heightened risk for attack or subject possibly flee.
Okay, attack in what fashion?
Attack with a firearm, attack with a weapon.
Okay, what about in terms of the ability for the right hand to do anything else other than to attack?
Right. And yeah, there's only one hand visible, so not being able to count for the right hand, that would be a safety issue. Yes.
Aside from safety, potential to dispose of some contraband?
Who's testifying, Judge?
Sustain, please.
You see Officer Melendez's weapon drawn?
Yes.
Do you see anything improper in that?
No.
Acting as a reasonable police officer in the totality of the circumstances, would you agree?
I agree.
All right, continue.
Yeah, frame by frame.
Yes. What do you see?
You see the partner coming across, and it appears the subject going towards the right.
All right, let's stop. Let's talk about the subject going towards the right.
Do we have a time, please?
215847. Just for clarification, each frame does not move a second, so if I'm calling out the same time, it's because it's multiple frames in the same second.
Still see the hand on the door?
Yes.
You see two hands out of the door at any time?
No.
See his feet on the ground?
No.
And you described something that you saw in the back window before the body had blocked it. What did you say?
It appeared that the driver shifted to the right.
What is the potential hazard in that, if any?
Being that the right hand is, obviously the right hand is not visible, you could shift either to get rid of contraband or to pick up a weapon.
Potential for danger to the officer?
Absolutely.
What about to anybody else?
All to citizens, yes, absolutely. Anybody in the area.
What is the one thing at this point that the police officer doesn't want to have happen, where there is a potential for danger?
He does not want to lose control of the situation. He wants to gain control of the subject as soon as possible.
If he does not lose control and the person does get away, what is the potential danger at that point?
Well, if he were to flee, that we could possibly have a dangerous subject on the loose, run away, could flee.
What happens when people flee? What collateral things happen if people
Well,
flee?
when people flee, if they are trying to get away, they will do many things usually to get away. They may harm someone else, might harm a police officer in the effort to get away.
When you say harm, in what way?
They could assault.
I think that these hypotheticals have no bearing to the facts and circumstances.
Go ahead.
They could harm, they could strike out, harm, punch. If there's a weapon involved, they could shoot, slash.
What if they get back in the car? They gonna go 25 miles an hour and just
No.
mosey on their way?
If they were to get back in the car, we'd have a situation, we'd have a high-speed chase pursuit.
And what happens in high-speed chases?
Overrule now, that's enough. We can, I mean, just.
Would a reasonable police officer consider the fact that if a person got away, that in a high-speed chase, that some other innocent bystander may be killed?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's
If
move
he were a
on.
murderer, he could murder somebody. That has nothing to do with our case.
Exactly. I mean, counsel, please.
Well, it does, Judge, because it's a reasonable police officer and what they would
But I
think.
understand, but I'm just saying,
Okay, I'm moving on.
okay, let's.
All right, continue. I'd like you to look at the video, please, and tell me now, do you see Officer Zielinowski, he's been identified as Officer Zielinowski, doing anything?
Yes. He's coming up.
What is he doing with his right arm?
He's reaching towards the subject.
Sir, did he have his weapon drawn?
No, he did not.
Go ahead. What do we see?
He's backing up. He's standing off to the right of his partner.
Okay. Do you see Officer Melendez with his gun put back in its holster at any point now?
I can't tell, but not yet.
All right, continue. What do you see now?
The other officer is moving towards the driver of the vehicle.
Prior to that, did you see the occupant of the vehicle lean in any direction?
He initially leaned towards the right.
At this point, they're extracting him from the vehicle.
So, yeah.
All right, can we have a time, please?
21:58:52.
Is Officer Melendez's weapon drawn or not?
I believe it still is, yes.
Continue. Now, at this point, do you see him pull the weapon down?
Yes.
All right, when you're talking about the use of force continuum, at this point, is he escalating or de-escalating?
He's technically de-escalating.
Did you say a word before de-escalating?
De-escalating. technically de-escalating.
Continue, please. Is the weapon now in its holster? If you can't tell, you can't tell.
Can't tell yet.
All right. What do you see?
Officer's holstering his pistol.
Can we call out a time, please?
21:58:57.
All right. In terms of the use of force continuum, what, if any, significance is the holstering of that vehicle, the weapon?
He's de-escalating his use of force.
All right, and at that point, we're going to go real time and pull him, have him pulled out of the car. And I want you to stop when he goes to the ground. Stop. Okay. All right, at this point, what do we see happening? And we have to call out the time.
21:58:59.
What do you see?
Officer Melendez is going to be handcuffing the suspect. Subject.
Officer Melendez is handcuffing the subject?
Well, they are working together. They're going to be handcuffing the subject.
So I asked you, what do you see? Please describe what you see.
Just say what you see, don't be talking about who it is.
Okay. The
Officer.
officer is going down and talk with the suspect.
All right, now, under the circumstances of this case, and I would like you to support, or not, the basis upon which this person is being taken to the ground based on what you've seen and what you've described to the jury.
Yes, the subject should be taken to the ground as soon as possible to be handcuffed, please, for safety reasons.
What did you see before this that leads to the conclusion that that should happen?
The jolting and furtive movements of the vehicle coming to a stop, and along with the movements inside of the vehicle, seen from the back window of the subject.
What, if any, significance do you find to him opening up the door rather than rolling down his window?
That is a danger sign for a police officer when the door is open suddenly like that.
Do you find any significance to the fact that only one hand was showing and that that was all that was visible at the time?
Absolutely. It'd be very important that the officer can see both hands. That's
Now, what would a reasonable officer be doing at this point?
the reasonable officer be preparing to handcuff.
And to put him in a position where he would be handcuffed and not moving?
Who's testifying?
Sustained.
Sir,
Be handcuffed so it can be controlled.
okay, at this point, would it be reasonable to pick him up and talk to him?
No, not at this point. He'd be handcuffed and then
Okay, now, continue. What do you see here?
the subject starts to resist and the officer puts him in a headlock.
Okay, stop, please. We're going to get to the striking in a minute, but at this point, you see Officer Melendez doing something, and you had described it as a headlock. What is a headlock?
Headlock, it's the control of the head, so that to control the subject, in this case, to hold him down.
What if anything, does controlling the head do in terms of controlling the rest of the person?
It's been said that where the head goes, the body will follow. But yes, he's laying up on top of the officers, up on top of him, trying to control him, keep him down.
Okay, at this point, do you see another officer trying to handcuff him?
Yes. The other officer.
Has he been handcuffed?
No, he has not.
Has he put his hands behind his back?
No, he has not.
All right, now, we have heard the term chokehold. Can you please distinguish, if you can, what the difference is between a chokehold and a headlock?
This was not a chokehold. This is a headlock. The hold here is up high. It's not around the
Can
neck
you
area.
show us with the little thing?
It's up high. Okay, it needs to be a headlock, it would be control hold.
What's the difference, witness?
But in this case, there's no compression on the neck, and there's no compression on the neck. He's holding the head, he's trying to hold him down. It's up high.
Okay, and a chokehold is?
With a chokehold would be a different positioning, and also would be, the officer would be lower.
Okay, and for the record, what did the witness do, Mr. Thomas, for the record?
I think he pulled his arms into his body is what he did, Judge. But if you want him to
Can
demonstrate.
you demonstrate just for the record?
Can you
because
do,
it's the
can
case-
you do, can you do a head hold on me?
Oh, yeah, do one on
Actually, could
Mr.
you-
Thomas. Please, do one on Mr. Thomas, please.
All right, here we got.
Cut the lights on. Wait a minute, hold on for a minute, I want to see this.
Like this guy.
All right, for demonstration purposes, you don't have, all right, when you're talking about the chokehold, what areas of the body are you concerned with?
Areas of the body? To be a chokehold, it would be up here.
For the
The
record.
larynx and the trachea, and the choke.
And what would be the intention then, if you are pressing, if you are putting pressure against the larynx and the trachea?
Oh, that would be to cut off the wind, to cut off the respiration.
Can you see it? Okay, move back a little bit. All right, now, go ahead, show us.
Cut off.
Stand where the prosecutor above the seat of the prosecutor. Come on.
You want me to?
No, come up, come up.
Come up here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Oh.
Okay, now, show us exactly what you're talking about.
All right.
What you indicated, the larynx, show us so the judges are the back. Okay, I don't need to see.
Where's the larynx?
Right here,
Where's the trachea?
right here.
Okay. And are these areas where the wind goes?
Yes,
And the idea of the chokehold is to do what?
it's cut off respiration, it's cut off the wind.
Okay.
So show us again what a chokehold would be.
Chokehold? Well, lower,
Okay.
but that's not a,
We want to see if it's effective. Go ahead, that's the chokehold, and what would be the headlock?
headlock.
The head was.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
And what was the difference that you indicated?
That there's no chokehold, there's no compression on the trachea or what upper part trachea called larynx.
Okay, very good, okay.
Okay, there are two other, there's another area at the chokehold is concerned with. Could you please explain to the jury what that is?
It's called, what we call the vascular hold, and it would actually, the arteries, part of the arteries here, and that this would be obstructed, and that would obstruct the blood flow.
If a chokehold was employed from the vascular side, would you expect that that would be a quicker reaction by the subject?
Yes, but about 5, if compressed, it would be about 5 seconds before the person.
And what about with the trachea?
Trachea, a bit longer, I believe, but it would be very damaging. It would be.
What would you expect to see as a result of that, if there was in fact a chokehold, that there would be injuries to the neck?
Is this a doctor?
Yes, he is, by the way.
Wait a minute. Yeah, well, he
A
is,
real
but-
doctor?
Well,
Look,
you mean
don't
like,
say that.
you mean like Mr. DeFranco?
Please be seated, witness. Please be. Okay, very good. Now,
Now, I'm going to object
that
to the
was-
cheap shot.
That was.
All right,
Okay,
I
just,
apologize.
all right.
okay, very good.
Now, we're all entitled to one, and I've used mine up already, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Now, at this point, do you see the witness, Mr. Dent, resisting in any way?
Yes, he's resisting. His hands are coming up. He's resisting. Yes,
He's resisting, his hand coming up,
coming up. Yes.
and do you see, all right, and can you take me back to this thing about passive resistance? Do you see him passively resisting here?
No, this is considered active resistance.
Okay. At this point, we have a time frame. Can we have that?
21:59:09.
Okay. See Officer Melendez's arm around Mr. Dent?
Yes,
You see his left arm around Mr. Dent?
yes.
At this point, you said that you didn't see a chokehold. Do you see Mr. Dent's mouth?
At this point, I can't. It turns his hands are in the way.
Okay. But you do see him at some point. What is he doing with his hands?
He brings his hands up to pull, it appears.
Bring his hands up. Let's see, roll it please, and let's see what he does with his hands, please. Okay, stop. All right. Did you see him trying to pull Mr. Melendez's arm down?
At one point earlier, yes.
Okay, do you see him covering up his face?
Yes.
All right, and you see the blows to the head?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, let's go step by step. Did you see Officer Zielinski with his arms trying to get them behind his back?
Yes.
Is he cooperating?
No, he's not.
All right, continue. Stop. You see Mr. Melendez strike Mr. Dent there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's Officer Zielinski doing?
He's pulling on Mr. Dent's hands to try to get him handcuffed. And it appears that Mr. Dent is resisting. And we're actually gone to an active aggression stage.
Okay, what did you see there? Actively aggressing.
Well, we have it appears that Mr. Dent's hands come up in a punching type motion.
Do you see that in anywhere in proximity to Mr. Melendez's face?
Do we have a time on the record?
Yes, please.
21:59:20.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
close proximity to.
Is there a question? Okay. Let's continue. At this point, do you see Officer Melendez striking him at all?
No,
Do you see Mr. Dent resisting at all?
he's still resisting. The officer's not striking.
Okay, stop. At this point, do you see a handcuff that is placed on his left arm?
Yes,
Okay. Do you see that arm and whether or not it's going behind his back?
it is not.
You see another officer arriving at the scene?
Yes,
At this point, has Mr. Dent been subdued?
no, he has not.
Continue. Hold it, stop. All right. At this point, has the striking stopped for a period of time?
At this point, the striking stopped.
Okay. You see another officer on the scene at this point. Is that correct?
Yes,
Has Mr. Dent's arm been placed behind his back?
they're trying to. Yes, they're trying to put it behind his back, but it is not.
Okay. What if anything, do you see going on with Mr. Dent's right arm?
Mr. Dent's. I can't see Mr. Dent's right arm at this point.
Okay. At that point, does that pose a potential problem for a reasonable police officer?
Yes, it does.
Explain.
Again, the police officer would like to keep control of the situation, and one of the general rules is to control the hands. So we keep an eye on the hands. We often look towards the hands to make sure that the hands and the person cannot access weapons. Could be a dangerous situation, yes.
Okay. And what time are we at, Ms. Brennan?
21:59:36.
Okay, please continue. See other officers arriving?
Yes,
Okay, stop. Did you notice an officer going to his right and pulling something out of his pocket?
yes,
Has even more time passed since Officer Melendez has struck Mr. Dent in the head?
yes.
What, if anything, is Mr. Dent doing to comply with the arrest?
At this point, he's not complying.
Is he passively resisting?
I would say he's actively resisting.
Okay.
Well, active aggression, actually.
Tell the jury why.
Active aggression means to strike out, to punch.
Well, we only saw one punch. Is he still punching?
But he's actually fighting to get away from the officers. He's actively aggressive.
Well, you see his one hand has got a handcuff on it. Is that right?
Pardon me?
Did you see that a handcuff had been placed on his hand?
Yes.
What, if anything, does that pose of significance in your opinion?
Again, to have a subject's partially handcuffed, this is a problem because the handcuff can be swung and can be used as a weapon. It happens. It happens.
Okay, can we continue?
For the record, I stopped at 21:59:43.
And what do you see?
What was the last number?
21:59:43. What is that? Stop. What was that?
Officer applies a drive stun taser.
And that was the heavyset officer whose back is to us?
Yes.
He did it with his left hand?
Yes.
Where'd the taser go?
At that point, upper part of his abdomen. Mr. Dent's abdomen.
We've already had testimony relating to what a taser does. Would you expect at the time that he's tased that he would be submitting?
It's painful at this point. Yes, you would think so.
Okay, let's continue and see whether he does continue to submit, or whether he does submit.
For the record, I stopped at 21:59:47.
Stop. At this point, does he continue to resist even after he's been tased the first time?
Yes, he's still resistant.
What do you see the officer with his back towards you preparing to do now?
I believe he still has his taser out, so I'll apply a taser.
I mean, you've seen this video 20 times, right?
Right.
Okay, let's roll it.
For the record, I stopped at 21:59:54.
Another taser. Drive stun.
How did that take?
No, it did not.
Okay, stop. Now, after the dry taser, do you see the person with the taser stepping back?
Yes.
Did Mr. Dent continue to resist even then?
At that point, yes.
Okay. Does he? Okay. Continue then.
Still resistant.
Now stop. Did you see that violent jerking where he was?
Who's testifying, John?
Exactly.
Well, all right. What did you see Mr. Dent just do?
Show us. With your,
What did you see Mr. Dent just do?
Where's the pointer? You know,
It's right there.
give it to us. That. Okay, may he use it? Can he show us? Maybe.
He's,
Maybe. Go ahead, show us what you're referring to.
he's still jerking. He's still resistant. He's still moving.
It's after being tased twice,
Yes.
after being had 16 times,
Yes.
and after Officer Melendez has stopped hitting.
Yes.
Would you consider a taser to be equal force under the use of force continuum?
In this situation,
Under the
Use of force continuum.
it would be an intermediate weapon.
What do you mean by intermediate?
It would mean that the person would be actively aggressing and could be applied.
Okay.
Would, in terms of striking versus the taser, would you consider a taser to be a step up?
Yes, it is.
All right. Continue, please.
For the record, I stopped at 22:00:11.
At this point, how many officers do you see there?
5, 6, 6.
At some point, do you see somebody stand up?
Yes.
Stop. At this point, does Mr. Dent have his hands behind his back and handcuffed?
Yes.
You see him resisting at any point after he had his hands handcuffed?
Not at this point, no.
All right. You see anybody striking him after he's been handcuffed?
No, they stop immediately once he's handcuffed.
Do you see anybody kicking him after he's been handcuffed?
No, they stop.
See anybody abusing him in any way once he puts his hands behind his back and gets him handcuffed?
No,
All right,
no one is striking him at all,
okay. All right.
or tasing him.
For the record, we stopped at 22:00:35.
Okay. Let's, by the way, at this point, is there anybody around him?
At this point, there's many people around. There's police officers around him.
Now, what I'd like to do, Ms. Brennan, is go back maybe let's go back to the incident real time. So from the time that he's pulled out of the car, and I'd like to do this not in slow motion bit by bit, but I'd like to do it as it, in the time frame that it occurred.
Farther back than this.
No, this is fine. What time are you at?
21:58:51.
Okay. Run it real time. At this point, you're being pulled out of the car.
Car, weapon, line. Active handcuff. Level of force increases. Subject still resistant.
See him mouth move?
Yes. Subject resistant the whole time, he's moving the whole time.
See him continue to struggle?
He's still struggling, yes.
Chairman, I'd ask that counsel stop leading the witness.
Please,
Pointing it out to the jury to see what is plainly there on the video. Okay,
I'm going to object to that comment.
sustain.
now I'm used it up. That was my cheap shot. All right. Stop. At any time before he was handcuffed, did you see him stop moving?
No, he's resistant the whole time, moving the whole time.
Looking at it real time is a lot quicker than looking at it frame by frame, right?
Yes, it is.
Can you talk to the jury about the difference between real time and experiencing what it is that you experienced in the split second?
When you're in a situation like that as a police officer trying to maintain control of the subject, many things come into play. Trying to maintain control, there's obviously a stress factor, trying to control the hands. Things are moving quickly, and of course, the police officer would only see what he would see. In this case, he would see from the position that they're in. So things are moving quickly, there's a lot on your mind regarding keeping control of the subject so no one gets hurt.
Does this analysis that you've just spoken to, does that take into consideration what it is not only that the police officer sees, but what it is that he feels?
Oh, absolutely. There's many feelings that are involved. There's stress, there's stresses, factors that are involved, and there's action, there's preconditioned moves, like the headlock and so forth that officers are conditioned to apply and be trained to apply.
What about what it is that they experience, not just their feelings, not just what they see, but the feelings that they feel in terms of...
How is this relevant?
Well, I'm gonna give him a little latitude.
I'm talking about the officer's up against another body.
Yes.
That officer's going to feel what that body's doing, not just see it, but feel it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm...
Yes, absolutely. And attention and so forth.
I asked you whether or not you saw Mr. Dent stop moving. Would you have expected that he would have stopped moving if he had been choked out?
Yes.
Real time, looking at it quickly, let's go forward. He's picked up, is he not?
Yes, he's
Now,
brought to his feet.
all right, is he standing on his own feet?
Yes, he's brought to his feet.
Is he walking?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further on that. You can take the screen down, please.
For the record, I initially stopped at 22:00:38. We are now stopping at 22:00:52.
You had an opportunity now in front of the jury to see the use of force continuum as it was employed by Officer Melendez. Is that
I
correct?
object to that, as it was employed by,
Did you see the use of force continuum?
Yes, it's the escalation of force.
Okay, you were able to comment on that?
Yes.
And you were able to see the use of force that Officer Melendez had exerted in the instance?
Yes.
Do you have an opinion as it relates to whether or not the use of force under the circumstances that you viewed, and only those circumstances, do you have an opinion as to whether or not the use of force was reasonable or unreasonable?
The use of force was reasonable.
Well, the answer is yes?
Yes.
And that you find that it was reasonable?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I offer him for cross-examination.
Very good. At this time, we're going to take a recess, okay? Let's take a 20-minute recess before we part of the break. You are allowed to do support people. All rise for the jury. All rise for the jury. Not going to go when those of you that want to leave, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to have everybody leave. Just not going to go get your purses and et cetera, jackets or whatever. Just come back in.
Maybe seated.